Hi, my name is Janet. This is the Unseen Weave. And I had a situation yesterday that I want to talk about because I saw that I've grown. And I want to share that. And I've grown in the way that I use my voice and advocate for myself. And of course, that's what this channel is all about. So I wanted to report back a proud moment. So yesterday, I live in a community, an apartment community, and we have a lawn area in front of my apartment, and there's a grill. And there's another grill over by the retreat center. And I grill frequently. I love grilling. So I had turned on the electric grill, and it takes about 20-25 minutes for it to warm up to the temperature I like. So I start the grill, I come back in, I get all my things ready. I went out and I had a nice steak. I just felt like I needed beef protein. I hadn't had any in a really long time. So I bought a really good steak. So I put it on the grill and I came back in to get my salad and veggies ready. 6 minutes, set the timer. So at 6-minute timer, I go out my front door and there's a man standing over the grill. And he's like putting the lid down. I was like, what is going on right now? And so I said, as I'm walking out, I go, I'm already using that grill. And he, as I get closer, he says, I hope you don't mind. I added some things. And I was like, you what? And so he goes, I hope you don't mind. I put some things on the grill with yours. And I was like, I wish you hadn't done that. I said something, but it was still a little nice. I wish you wouldn't done. I didn't say I wish. I just said I wish you wouldn't done that. And he said, well, I would have used the other grill, but I couldn't figure out how to use it. So I came over to this one, and seeing it already on and going, even though he saw I had something in there, he put 8 hamburgers in my grill. And I went, why would you do that? And he goes, I hope you don't mind. I go, well, I do mind. And so I lifted up the lid and I turned my steak over and I closed the lid. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. And I said, I don't like mixing things in my food. Every time you open the lid, you change the temperature. Whatever food you put in there will have an effect on the way my food tastes. And I said, seeing that you've already put in beef, I won't make you take it off because at least it's beef. And I said, I'll be back in 6 minutes to take my meat off the grill. Don't touch this lid. And he looked at me. Okay. And I started to walk away. And I turned around and I said, don't open that grill. I'll be back in 6 minutes to take my food off, and then you can do what you want with yours. Okay. So I came in the house and I sat by my window for 6 minutes. Now, some of you might think this is mean because his burgers were going to sit in there for 6 minutes waiting for my steak to go. And that's a long time on that grill for burgers. But it was either being nice and letting him have his delicious, juicy burgers, or advocating for myself and what I had started first and prioritizing that. And that's what I did. And he watched through the window and stood there and watched my window for me to come out. I could tell he was getting nervous, but I waited till the timer went off, and then I went out. I took off my steak, and I started to leave, and I realized I wasn't quite satisfied with how I had left things, because we did share the grill for a moment. And so I turned, and this was the moment. I faced him squarely. My body wasn't turned to the side. I turned so that I was positioned directly in front of him. Both of my feet were facing him. There was no part of me that was out of this engagement. I looked him directly in the eye, and I said, I want to be clear here. Don't put your food on my barbecue again. You wait till I'm done, and then you can use the grill. Yes? And he was like, yes, yes. And again, the reason I did it was, I don't care about the reason. I don't care about the reason. I want to make sure I'm clear. You wait till I'm done before you put your things on the barbecue. Yes. Okay. All right. Goodbye. And I walked back to my apartment. And I walked in my apartment and I started hooping and hollering because I was direct. And that word came to me because I called my daughter after I came in the house because I was so excited and proud of myself. I didn't apologize. I didn't say, please don't do this again. I didn't say, don't do it again, okay? I didn't use those permissive words at the end. They were statements. And I was so proud of myself. And she said she had just taken a communication course at work. And one of the things she scored high in, it was like a personal inventory of communication styles. And one of the things she tested high in is directness. And I have been thinking about that all night. How important directness is. We dance around a lot of stuff, and when we aren't clear and direct, our communication can be misunderstood, often dismissed, not as even serious, because people don't really know with what tone we're communicating if we're not direct. And so I really have been thinking about the value of directness. Number one, it's much less ambiguous. You just state, I don't like this. I don't want this to happen. I will not do this. I will not accept if you do this. It's like clear boundaries. There's no misunderstanding. Number two, it's more efficient because you don't waste time trying to figure out what someone really is trying to say or what they really mean. You know because they're clear and direct. So it saves time. It's efficient. And number three, when we are always softening what we say. Now, I wasn't yelling. I was calm. And my voice was steady but firm. But I wasn't yelling and I wasn't emotional either. Oh, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I didn't. That wasn't what happened at all. I didn't take it personally. Right? That was so great. So the third thing was, for this man, his response to my directness tells me so much about him. He was immediately defensive. Well, I wouldn't have done it if I'd been able to figure out how the other grill worked. He was completely defensive. He didn't see his role in it at all. So he completely deflected his own shame and guilt about what he'd done. And that tells you a lot about a person. If they can't accept, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, I didn't play this the way I really wanted to now that I think about it. You know, if they have some self-reflection about it, then that's a good person to be in a relationship with. But if someone continually blames and deflects, how can you have a relationship with someone like that? How can you? You really can't. So this has been a chance experience that has made me feel, allowed me to feel that my voice is getting stronger. And my character qualities to advocate for myself instead of just accepting what life brings you. The quality of not being afraid to stand directly before him and say what I want, say what I need to happen, to set a clear boundary in real time. I'm really proud of me. I'm hoping to have many, many more of these experiences because it felt good through my whole body. My whole body felt, yes, finally, you're telling the truth about yourself, you know? You said exactly what you wanted to say and didn't sugarcoat anything. And I did it tactfully and skillfully. I'm really proud of me. So I wanted to share that. Bye.